Hey, what's up, my people? How you doing? My name is Dalton, and yes, it is freezing out here in April in Pittsburgh. Yeah, and yesterday it snowed in April. Now, I'm going to tell you a quick story. This is going to be a story time. I'm going to tell you a quick story. When I was younger and I was in high school, it was, I believe, it was my my senior year in high school. Okay, it was either my junior or senior year. I believe it was my senior year. And I remember one of my teachers pulled me to the side and said, Dalton, I want to have a talk with you. Now, there was moments I'm not going to lie. There's things that I did well in high school. But then there's a lot of academic stuff I struggled with. I still struggle with today. Okay? Especially math. But he pulled me over the side. He says, Dalton, I want to have a long talk with you, man. He says, look, I see your grades and everything, and he says there's no doubt that you're going to pass, you know, but you got to stay on top of it, you know. He said, but you need to join the armed forces. He said, here's the weird part. He said, you're not just going to get by in this life on your pretty face. And I was like, okay. He said, you need to join the armed forces because you're just not smart. You're not smart enough for anything else, and you need to be realistic. And he said, if you join the armed forces, you can make a good career out of it, and end up retiring out of it, and have a good pension. He said, otherwise, you'll never make anything of yourself because, you just don't have what it takes. And you just got to be realistic. Now, when I tell you this story, many people are going to go, oh, man. But the most shocking thing that people don't realize is that the man that told me this was black. About black as I am. Yeah. So a lot of times everybody, now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there's not discrimination, racial discrimination or discrimination of any type against the black male or the black female in America, or no matter where they're at. But I think one of the hardest things to grasp for us as Afro-American people is that we are still on autopilot. We're still going by the brainwashing that had been done to us by our slave masters. Okay? But it comes off in a whole different way. And one thing I noticed about the Afro-American community, they have this crab mentality. If you do not know what a crab mentality is, let me explain it to you. When you have a bunch of crabs that everybody's looking at in this, glass water case, aquarium, or whatever you want to call it. And people look at it and say, I'm going to get that one. You got all these crabs, right? But you got one crab that's making it all the way up to the top. And just before that crab gets to be able to get over the top and get freedom and run for freedom, other crabs will automatically grab that crab and drag it down. And I think that I see a lot of that in the black community and what we do to each other. And that is, I think, something we have to work on. And most of that comes from our slave masters. Okay, there's different versions of it right now, but that is where it comes from. Okay, now also what a lot of people don't know is that there were many, and I mean many, books written on how to get a slave, how to control a slave, how to get the most out of your slave. Did you know that? There are many books, and they're around today if you want to find them, on how to handle, how to get a slave, because slavery was a business. So if you think about it, even YouTube. Look at YouTube. There's books now out on how to be best at YouTube. There's books on how to be get out of financial debt. So is it really impossible to believe that there were books on how to handle your slave and how to make the most of a slave and how to keep a person in a slave mentality? And I think that's something we have to, a lot of times also, our parents, we do things that our parents had done to us. And, you got to break that circle if that circle is negative. Okay? Because some of that came from the slave master. Okay? And also, I think a problem with us as an Afro-American is we're disconnected from our roots of Africa. Many Afro-American women and men were warriors, okay? We were warriors, we were technicians, we were mathematics, we were kings and queens, we were in all types of fields. I remember when I was in college, and this Japanese guy, he was all upset because he was going to become to do sign language, okay? But his parents wanted him to do something else, but he was determined, and he was in his last year, and he was going to get that degree to become to do sign language, and that was great, okay? But he actually looked at me one day in my face, and he said, black people should stay out of technology. They should stay out of mathematics and trying to be doctors and things such as that. He said, look, y'all already got entertainment and sports, okay, and y'all cook good, so y'all should stick with that and leave the rest to he literally said leave the rest to Asians, East Indians, and white people. Told me that straight to my face. So what I'm getting at is this: if we as Afro-Americans understood that some of us are warriors, and we came from a line of powerful warriors, like the Moors, Moors, look it up. They were powerful African warriors, highly intelligent. Matter of fact, they conquered Italy, way back. That's how you got dark-skinned Italians. You think about it, they're over there in Europe. Most of those people way back then were blonde, blue-eyed. Okay? But when you understand that, you understand how you need to control your temper more, because you have a warrior spirit. So you need to control your power. But if you don't know your history and who you were connected to in Africa, where you're from, where your bloodline's from, then you don't know that, I was a warrior, so maybe I should be a little bit careful with my temper, seeing that I have the ability to take down people in my bloodline. All right? Anyway, I wanted to throw that little story time with you, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I should rap to y'all later. Peace.